Hello there and welcome to a 5-minute lesson. So today we are going to be looking at habits, and this is actually a lesson I gave live in my private community yesterday. So if you would like to join that, the link is in the top comment. You can do a 7-day free trial. Anyway, what are habits? Well, so a habit, noun, is a routine or behavior that is repeated regularly. Now, these small day-to-day habits will actually shape your life. And if something shapes your life, this is a very common phrase we have, meaning that it heavily influences the direction of your life. Okay? Now, they might seem small at first, but they compound. And this word here, compound, it's a verb. It means it grows at an increasing rate because of repeated additions. So you add one thing, you add one thing, you add one thing, then suddenly it starts to grow disproportionately to the number of things that you have added, okay? And you quite often hear this being used in finance, but you can use this with other things as well. Let me just show you a graph that really drives this point home. Okay, so this is from a book called The Slight Edge. I'd highly recommend that. And basically it shows how your day-to-day actions, so your habits, don't really have that much of an impact in the short term, okay? You can see here, if you do a bad habit, if you miss the gym one day, it doesn't really matter, okay? And it's the same thing with a good habit. If you go to the gym one day, you're not going to notice a huge difference. If you do it 2 days in a row, once again, it doesn't really matter that much. 3 days in a row, you might start to feel something. 1 week, you might be looking a little bit smaller or a bit bigger. And then after a while, it starts to play a huge role in your life, right? So 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. And you can see here, this is the curve of a good habit. So day to day, not much. Then after time, it compounds. It starts to massively rise. And it's the same with bad habits as well. You know, a bad habit, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're not going to notice a huge difference, but then it starts to massively fall as well. And this is true for finances, it's true for your health, it's true for your relationships, and it all stems from your habits. Okay, so these are really important. Some examples of good habits: exercising, sleeping well, drinking water, meditating. Some bad habits: scrolling. I think we're all guilty of this. Biting our nails. I'm really guilty of this. This is something I'm trying to work on. Smoking and eating junk food. Okay, so let's look at some of the vocabulary. Now then, we have these words here. These are all they're advanced, but they're still used on a daily basis. These are really good for you to know, and these are all to do with habits. So just repeat after me. Okay, and we have the phonetic translation here. Right, repeat after me. Proactive. Conscientious. That's a hard one, so we'll do that again. Conscientious. Okay. Mindful. Burnt out. Finally, lethargic. Very good. Now, you might be wondering what these words mean. So we have some definitions here, okay? Now, if you'd like to play along during the live lesson, you would do this along with me. But for now, if you want to try to guess which word matches which definition, feel free to pause the video and make your guesses. But for now, we'll just go through this one together. Okay, so proactive, what could it be? Well, if you're proactive, it means that you take actions before the problems arise. So you can identify future issues, potential future problems, and you put actions into place to stop those problems. Okay, we'll look at that a bit later on as well. Conscientious, what does this mean? Well, it means that you are responsible and you take pride in your actions. You make sure that you do things well. So you could be conscientious in your job, for example. Mindful, you might be able to guess this one. If you're mindful, it means that you pay close attention to the moment, you are present. If you are burnt out, it means that you are really tired because of too much work or stress. And finally, if you are lethargic, it means that you are tired once again and lacking energy. So it's not quite as severe as burning out, but you are lethargic for a few days in a row, a few weeks in a row, then eventually you will burn out. Then you are extremely lethargic. So with a fill in the gaps exercise here, as mentioned, you can also pause the video and try to work these out yourself. That's what we would do during the live session, would go through these together. But for now, we're going to just do it in real time. Okay, so after weeks of working long hours, Jake felt completely burnt out. Okay, that makes sense, because if you are burnt out, it means that you've been working extremely hard, or you're stressed for a long period of time, and eventually you can't take it anymore. Even after a full night's sleep, he still felt lethargic and struggled to concentrate. Okay, so lethargic meaning tired, not quite as severe as burnt out, but if you sleep for a full night and you are lethargic, it means that you do have some problems. Instead of ignoring the problem, he was something and took a few days off before it got even worse. And the key to this answer is before it got even worse. So he identified a potential future problem and he took action, which means he was proactive. Okay. During that time, he became more something of his daily habits, making time for exercise and reducing his screen time. More thinking about them more mindful of his daily habits. When he returned to work, his colleagues noticed he was far more, there's only one left, but conscientious, paying close attention to detail and finishing tasks to a high standard. And the clue here is, paying close attention to detail and finishing tasks to a high standard. So if you're conscientious, it means you really care about the quality of what it is you're doing. And it's quite often used in the workplace as well. Very useful words for you to know. Okay then. Now I want you to guess the meaning. As always, you can just pause the video, but we'll go through these live now. So if you get in the habit of something, it means that you start doing something regularly. If you break or build a habit, that's just a native way of saying that you stop or start a habit. So if you break a habit, you stop it. If you build a habit, you start it. If you fall into bad habits, that just means that you gradually develop unhealthy behaviors. So you've started doing these bad habits again. And finally, if you get back on track, means that you return to good habits after falling into bad ones. Okay, and these are just the most common native ways of expressing these meanings, right? So we do have an activity here. Normally in the live session, I would ask you to give me your answers and I'll give you feedback, but we can't really do that here. So why don't you think about your answers whilst we do this and I'll give you mine. So what are your best and worst habits? My best, I drink a lot of water. Yeah, I think that's a good habit to have. My worst habit, probably scrolling. Yeah, I know you can relate. Everyone can relate to this one. I hate scrolling, but here we are. What's one habit you can start or break next week to improve your life? I can actually be stricter with my sleep schedule. So go to sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time, and stick to it. I'm okay with it, but it's not every single day. I think changing it to every day will definitely improve my life. What's one habit you've built that has genuinely changed your life? Probably regular exercise. When you exercise, it changes your mindset as well. So yeah, that's just a part of my life now. It's good. And I would ask you to use the new vocabulary in your answers. That's why this is here as well. Right then, meet Tony. This is the final exercise. So this is my friend Tony, right? Hi, I'm Tony. I've been feeling a bit meh lately, and I don't know why. Let me tell you about a normal day in my life, okay? So basically, you are Tony's life coach, and you have 1 minute. What's the first thing you'd change? That's what we would do during the session, but seeing as we're not live and I'm not speaking to you, I will just give you my feedback on Tony's day-to-day life, right? So I normally wake up at 8:45, but I don't actually get out of bed until 9:30 because I hit the snooze button 4 or 5 times. So if I was Tony's life coach and I was trying to help him out, I'd probably say there's nothing wrong with getting up at that time if that's your sleep schedule. Some people are better if they wake up early. Some people prefer to get up a bit later. But I'd say 45 minutes in bed suggests that you're not as disciplined as you would like to be. So you probably woke up thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to get up at 8:45, and then you actually, when it's time to wake up, you're too tired. So you're going to have that, you haven't kept your word right at the start of the day, which isn't ideal. The first thing I do is check Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Yeah, massive waste of time. Don't do that. Get straight out of bed. Don't be on your phone in bed, Tony. I skip breakfast because I don't have time. Okay, unideal, but not the end of the world. So I grab a large coffee and a chocolate bar on the way to work. Okay, that's unacceptable, Tony. So firstly, I'm not an expert on people's diets, but I know that a large coffee is a load of caffeine. And if you mix that with a sugary chocolate bar as well, that's just going to spike and fool. And there's no real nutrition there. So that's probably going to lead to a lot of anxiety from all the caffeine and the sugar. And you're just going to crash as well. And you won't even be full up. Anyway, this isn't a health and fitness channel. I work in an office, but honestly, I don't really enjoy my job. I keep telling myself I'll look for something else. But I've been saying that for 2 years. So yeah, the problem here is probably just not keeping your word. Once again, it's the same as this, Tony not waking up when he said he would. You've been telling yourself you're going to do this thing for 2 years, but you haven't done it yet. You need to take action. For lunch, I usually order a burger, chips, and a fizzy drink because it's quick and convenient. Okay, once again, we all know that junk food isn't good for you. After work, I'm normally too tired to exercise, so I tell myself I'll start going to the gym next Monday, and we all know that is a load of bollocks, Tony, respectfully. It's the same with the wake-up times, the same with the new job. You keep telling yourself these things, but you're not following through on them. How can you have self-respect when that's the case? I've always wanted to learn Spanish and play the guitar again, but I never seem to have enough time. Yeah, because you're messing about doing other things. When I get home, I watch Netflix while scrolling through my phone at the same time. Before I know it, it's nearly midnight. So this is the time where you could be learning Spanish or playing the guitar or exercising. And you watch Netflix while scrolling through your phone. Okay, we've all been there, but you're not even looking at the screen. You're not even watching Netflix. You just have it on in the background whilst scrolling. Probably the worst way you can spend your time. And it's something we're all guilty of from time to time. I put my hand up and I admit that, but come on. I know I should go to bed, but I end up watching just one more YouTube video. Okay, that's only acceptable if it's the British Education YouTube channel. That's the only way I will allow that. But seriously, sleep is so important. If you don't get enough sleep, it just ruins every other aspect of your life. It's kind of like drinking in that sense, drinking alcohol. So yeah, although you get up quite late. So even if you do go to sleep at 12:45, it takes you a bit of time to get to. Anyway, I'm getting distracted here, but once again, it's the discipline, telling yourself you're going to do one thing and then doing the other. You know you should be going to bed, right? I finally get into bed. It's about 2 a.m., but I stay on my phone for another half an hour. Tony. Wow, so you go to sleep at 1:30, and with all this stimulation, with the phone and the Netflix, you're not getting to sleep till 3, realistically. So that's less than 6 hours of sleep, although you do lie in. So 6 hours and 30 minutes, but still, it's not enough. The next morning, I wake up feeling exhausted. Yeah, no shit. Then I wonder why I have no energy, no motivation, why every day feels exactly the same. Okay, so I think we've diagnosed this problem. Okay then, and that's it really, guys. So this brings me on to the community. As mentioned, this was a live lesson that I gave yesterday in the community. So if you join, you get 7 weekly calls and lessons. That includes 2 weekly accent lessons, some lessons from me, and just normal conversation calls as well. We have an actual accent specialist for this one. And yeah, we have all the different time zones as well. This is a look at the calendar for August. It's a fun, active community. I make daily posts. So you can message me at any time. I will reply to you. I'm pretty much living inside of this community. Real people, real results. And as mentioned, you can do a 7-day free trial. Okay. So the link to that is in the top comment. Check it out. Depending on when you join, you might be able to start a call straight away. Okay. And we have there are so many people there. It's just a really fun and friendly space. If you want to get into the British education sphere, this is the way. Okay then. Thank you so much for watching. As mentioned, the link's in the top comment. I will see you very soon for another video. And yeah, if you did enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. And cheers for watching. Why don't you think about your own habits as well? I don't want to be on my high horse. I have a lot of bad habits as well. But it doesn't mean that we don't have to try and grow together and improve our lives. Right. Thank you again for watching. See you soon. Mwah. Goodbye.